What's cracking, people? Back with another reaction, back with some more Duran Duran. We're going back to their 1997 album Medazzaland again, though not for my CD copy of the album. We're actually going back for another bonus track sent by Izzy. Shout out to Izzy. Though I do want to mention, I just ordered or pre-ordered a copy of the 2 times LP, the sort of first vinyl version for the sort of 25th anniversary of the album that's coming out in a couple months. I'm very excited to get it. I think the vinyl is going to be pink, which my understanding is that there were aspects of the original CD release that were pink as well. So yeah, very much looking forward to it. One of my favorite albums of theirs that I've gone through so far. I love its experimental, edgy, sort of bit dark sort of vibe all the way through, although again, there is some variation in the songs. But I really respect the album. My understanding is there's going to be a lot of bonus art and sort of, photography stills and all sorts of extra material in the booklet that's going to come with it. I believe it's going to be a gatefold release, so I'm very much looking forward to that. But either way, it's an album that I want to have on vinyl, so I'm excited that I'm going to have an opportunity to do that. But yeah, we're going back for a remix of one of the tunes on here, and this is a remix of Electric Barbarella, which I now know is, the name of a movie, or I think it's the name of the movie itself. At the very least, someone is saying it relates to a movie, which someone is telling me, maybe it was Ron, someone is saying, overall it's maybe not the greatest movie, but it, provided source and inspiration here. I do believe people were saying it's about sort of like a, I don't know if sex doll is the right term, but it's about sort of a, synthetic woman available for purchase, which can then be used for comforts in other ways, perhaps, or in various ways, I should say. But yeah, so my understanding is it relates to like a non-living but like synthetic AI sort of woman, which, in the context of the album seems to fit in terms of its like, it's almost like normal reality, but it's a bit off, it's a bit, sort of distorted, it's a bit sort of like dark in its implications and so on. So I think it sort of fits with the overall atmosphere of the album. Now, what I remember about the tune, because, I have re-listened to several of these tracks, maybe not that one as much as a couple of the others, but again, I have re-listened to it, and I do very much enjoy it. What I would say sonically is that it struck me as a tune, the original I mean, it's sort of like a, it's that synth rock, but it's sort of like dance synth rock, but it's kind of warped, it's a bit twisted, so again, it sounds kind of like more typical synth rock or dance rock, but then kind of like twisted and sort of, like a bit of a sort of like a dark haze like sprinkled over the track. So yeah, that's what I picked up on the sort of atmosphere. So the remix is called the All Fired Up Mix. So that, to me, it does suggest a lot of energy. It suggests that it might sort of have more of a dance feel. It might have more of a, let's pump it up and stomp the dance floor sort of a vibe. So we'll have to see if that's the case. I do notice that it's about 7 minutes long. That also makes me think that it might be more dance-oriented. Generally speaking, like dance-oriented tracks are going to be a bit longer than, a simple, not simple, but a straightforward kind of rock tune. So yeah, we'll have to see if that's right, but like I said, it is 7 minutes long, so let's get to it. This is Duran Duran Electric Barbarella All Fired Up Mix, a bonus track from their 1997 album Medazzaland. Oh wow. It's alive! I can't do Gene Wilder, but it's actually I go on. Giving me kind of like that like breakbeat 90s electronica, like Crystal Method, or like, will be another good example. Skylab 2000, they're a lot more niche. I'm guessing most people would not have heard of them. Bit of like dub vibes almost, with that bass and the definitely a different vibe. Like down-tempo trip hop. That's a very trance-like kind of layer. I suppose progressive house too. I like this articulation a lot. It's definitely a different vibe than the original. Yeah, this is like, reminds me of like early 90s rave kind of stuff. But that breakbeat, what they used to call hardcore, very different from hardcore, what would be called that later, but like a lot of parties in 91 and 92, you hear stuff like this, which I get it, this is a few years later, but it has that early 90s electronica sort of vibe. If it's like a robot made to serve your pleasure, then like, again, there's no emotional strain on the other side, right? Like, you could keep it waiting, it's like whatever, like, it's not the same, although, you know, depends on your understanding of personhood. Pop lock to this. And you have Simon singing, this is a bonus on top. I like how that layer sort of like opens up and closes off alternatively. It's like breathing like metal. And like, you know, that simple, it's very breathy. It's like the whole track is like breathing centrally. You did not just come in with that dirty low end. Yeah, it's just fantastic. That low growl, that drone, forget about it. Now it is. Okay. This is seriously like an early 90s hardcore tune. By the way, like, speaking of hardcore, a lot of the later, like, gabber hardcore I listen to has samples like that. Now it is. Literally, I have a hardcore track called that. That's spelled F-Y-A-H, just for the record. Oh man, this is brilliant. I'm like grooving to this for the next few days, yeah. I gotta get this on a 12-inch, man. Use it as like a down-tempo opening to one of my like trance sets or something. And you can just come right out of this into like a proper trance feed. Those hats there were nice. They were like a subtle little element. Yeah, that's super cool. I didn't know what to expect, other than, you know, probably we would hear some of the lines, but the way that was arranged was brilliant. The sequencing, you know, it sort of went to another level about maybe 60% in when it brought in that sort of like really deep, gritty, low end. Yeah, and I enjoyed the, like I said, sort of like drum and bass a little bit, sort of breakbeat, early hardcore sort of feel. Definitely like a higher electronica sort of vibe, even if the other one was, like I said, sort of a dance rock tune already. But yeah, very cool, and you know, a notably different atmosphere. It's a thing when you do a remix, you know, do you hew closely to the original and just change one or two elements? Do you just arrange it differently? Do you notably like change the arrangement and so on, but keep kind of the atmosphere the same? Or do you kind of run in a totally different direction, which is what it felt like this one did? I am curious. I didn't remember, again, maybe Izzy, maybe you mentioned in the email. If you did, I apologize. I don't know if that remix is done by them or if it's, you know, remixed by someone who, you know, made house music or so on. And again, like when I did the reaction to the D-Ream remix of Drowning Man, I thought that was like a name of the track at first, you know, sort of like a stylistic name for the remix, but no, that was actually the name of the duo that made, I guess, a lot of like house tunes and so on in the early to mid 90s. So yeah, again, let me know what the All Fired mix up, like the provenance of that, if it's by, you know, remix artists or if it's actually, you know, a remix done by, you know, Rhodes and the people who produced the Medazzaland album. But yeah, I am curious, let me know. Yeah, I very much enjoyed it, and again, like, it's almost so different than the original that I'm gonna kind of put it in a different category in my brain. But yeah, very cool. Let me know what you think. Other than that, shout out to Izzy again for helping me react to some of these extra tunes, as well as, you know, I've mentioned there's a number of people, but I did want to give a special shout out to Philip. You know, he's given me access to not only like the rest of the Duran albums, so even like I'm gonna get them all like physical copies, certainly. But even before I get there, I should be able to start reacting to Astronaut and some of these other albums. So I'm very much looking forward to that. And again, shout out to you, Philip. And yeah, so we have more to look forward to, even though I'm coming toward the end of a couple of the other albums that I have the physical copy for already. So yeah, plenty more Duran reactions coming over time, and shout out to those of you who have helped make that happen. Other than that, I will see you next time. Peace.